You ever wake up one morning and realize your marriage has quietly become a full-time job, except you don't know your job description, and somehow you're already failing at it? That's pretty much where I live now. Like, every day feels like I'm starring in a comedy special I didn't know I was filming. And it always starts with my wife saying, "Can you do one small thing today?" Which, by the way, is the most dangerous sentence in the English language. Sounds harmless, but that's the hook. That's how they get you. Because the moment she says, "Oh, one small thing," my brain panics like, "Oh no, this is a trap." And suddenly I'm standing there holding a list that looks like she's preparing for a Mars mission. Marriage is basically you signing up for a lifetime of being confused in your own house. Like, she'll tell me, "Can you put this somewhere safe?" And look, I do. I put it somewhere very, very safe. So safe, in fact, that I can't find it anymore. I've accidentally invented a black hole inside my home. There are socks, receipts, important documents, and maybe one of my dreams in there. And the funny part is, when things go missing, she still asks me like I'm the prime suspect, "Where did you put it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Sweetheart, I wasn't even here when it went missing. I think the house took it." Honestly, at this point, the house might be married to you too. And somehow, married life gives you confidence about the wrong things. Other day, I told my wife, "I can fix that." I don't know why I said it. I've never fixed anything in my entire life. I once changed a light bulb and felt like I should have gotten a standing ovation. But here I am, promising repairs like I'm auditioning for a renovation show. And 5 minutes later, she's staring at me while I'm holding a tool I didn't even know we owned. Like, why is the wall making that sound now? And I'm standing there like, well, it wasn't doing that before. So that's actually a new feature I installed. Married life is just you trying to look useful while hoping no one notices that you're completely unqualified for the role. And I don't know how long I can keep pretending like I know what I'm doing. I'm pretty sure my wife figured it out years ago and just keeps me around because at least I make her laugh, even if it's by accident, which honestly might be the only thing keeping this whole operation together as I stand here in my own house, wondering how the moment your wife says, "Can you do one small thing?" you already feel your soul leaving your body because you know, deep down in your married bones, that nothing in this house is ever actually small. That sentence is like the sound of a movie villain whispering your name. It's soft, polite, but dangerous. Comes wrapped in this innocent tone, like she's asking you to pass her a napkin, but what she really means is your entire day is over now, and you stand there trying to act confident, nodding like, "Yeah, of course, one small thing," even though inside you're screaming, "Don't agree, don't do it, run." But you can't run because she's already walking away, assuming you've accepted the mission like you're some kind of domesticated, secret agent trained for situations you absolutely cannot handle. The wild part is, she never explains the task normally. It starts as, "Just move that one pillow," and somehow ends with you rearranging half the living room, holding a screwdriver you didn't need, wondering why the dog is judging you. Even the dog knows you're in over your head. And as you're doing it, she'll walk by and say things like, "You didn't have to do all that," which is hilarious because she knows exactly what she did. That was the plan. She gives you a small assignment, watches you overthink it, then acts surprised like you accidentally built a pyramid in the living room. You didn't sign up for construction work. You just wanted to watch TV. Married life will take the calmest moment of your day and turn it into an obstacle course where the rules are unclear and the instructions are written in ancient symbols. The whole time you're just trying to look like a functioning adult, hoping no one asks you why this small thing has turned into a full-blown home renovation. And even when you try to resist, it doesn't matter because there's no winning. If you say no, you're ignoring her. If you say yes, you've already lost. There's no escape. You could be standing there minding your business, eating cereal at 9 p.m., and she'll just casually say, "Wow, you're up," and immediately your body stops working. You weren't even planning to get up. She tricked you. She JD mind tricked you a chore you didn't know existed. And then somehow the small thing multiplies. You start with moving a box, and the next thing you know, she's saying, since you're already doing that, which is married language for, I have 11 more tasks prepared. And you can't argue because she says it with that tone that sounds like a suggestion but feels like a legally binding contract. You're trying to keep up, acting like you're built for this, when all you wanted was to sit down for 5 seconds without becoming an employee of your own house. And as you're still holding that pillow you were supposed to move, you're thinking how this one small thing, it's amazing how in married life, you can walk into your own house, your own kingdom, the place you supposedly live, and somehow you're already the main suspect in a mystery you didn't even know existed. The moment something goes missing, anything at all, your wife doesn't even pause to consider other possibilities. She doesn't blame gravity, the kids, the dog, the universe, a sudden wormhole. No. She looks directly at you, like she's been rehearsing this moment her whole life, and says, "Where did you put it?" And that question hits you like a plot twist you weren't prepared for. You're standing there thinking, I didn't even know something was lost. Came here for a snack. But now you're somehow involved in a full investigation where you're the prime suspect, the detective, the person who has to apologize at the end. And the wild part is, she asked the question with absolute confidence. She watched you take the missing object on security cameras. She'll say, "You always do this," which is impressive because you don't remember ever doing it. You've lost years of your life apparently committing crimes in your own home without knowing it. Married life makes you question your memory, your habits, and sometimes your entire existence. You start wondering, did I hide her keys in the freezer? Maybe you did. Marriage makes you believe anything is possible. And the funniest part is, she'll ask you where something is with a tone that clearly suggests she believes you put it in the strangest place imaginable. She'll go, "Well, maybe you left it on top of the car." On top of the car. That's not even something humans do on purpose. That's something raccoons might do if they had a busy schedule. But somehow it's your fault. Even when you try to explain that you genuinely have no idea where the thing is, she looks at you with this expression like you're trying to outsmart her. She thinks you're running a secret side mission to hide everyday objects from her. She acts like you have a drawer labeled things she actually needs. And the crazy part is, once she can't find something, becomes urgent, not regular urgent, end of the world urgent. Suddenly, the missing item is the most important thing she's ever owned, even though she hasn't touched it since 2019. Now you're involved in a search party you didn't volunteer for, crawling under furniture. checking pockets of jackets you don't even wear, questioning why you ever moved into a house with so many hiding places. Meanwhile, she's standing behind you giving commentary like a disappointed coach. Did you check properly? And you want to say, actually, I was just pretending to look because that's the kind of man I am. But you can't, because you're in too deep. Marriage turns every missing object into a test of your loyalty, intelligence, and survival instinct. The entire time you're searching, panicking, sweating, you know exactly what's going to happen. Because it happens every time. She's going to walk into the room, pick up the object from a place you both checked 4 times. It was right here. And you'll just stand there, defeated, confused, questioning physics, wondering how there's this moment in every marriage where you try to be responsible, really responsible, and you put something in a safe place. And the worst part is you feel proud of yourself when you do it. You stand there nodding like, yeah, this is adulthood, this is maturity. I'm doing great things for this household. But that confidence lasts about 6 minutes, because the second anyone asks for that item again, your brain shuts down like someone unplugged you from the wall. You suddenly can't remember anything. Your name, the day, the reason you walked into the room, nothing. All you know is safe place has vanished. And you start feeling like you accidentally created a portal in your house that swallows anything important. You put something in the drawer, but the drawer apparently has a Narnia-level entrance where things go to start new lives. You try to explain this to your wife in a calm way, but she's looking at you like you're lying on purpose. She thinks you have a secret second life where you hide things recreationally. She'll say stuff like, just think, retrace your steps, and you're standing there realizing you don't have steps. You didn't take steps. You floated through the house like a confused ghost looking for snacks, and somewhere between the kitchen and the couch, you lost yourself and the object. Married life will make a person rethink their own intelligence, because every time you try to put something away properly, it disappears forever. The crazy thing is, when you put something in a normal, not safe place, it stays there for 6 months untouched. But the moment you intentionally store something neatly, it's gone. You check the drawer, the shelf, the cabinet, the secret pocket in your backpack you didn't know existed until today, nothing. And every minute that passes, your wife's face gets more and more suspicious, like she's trying to decide whether you're forgetful or if you're genuinely dangerous to the organizational structure of the home. Now, because the thing is lost, the value of the object increases by about 1,000%. It could be a receipt, a charger, or a random paper clip she hasn't thought about in years. But the moment it's missing, it becomes the single most important item in the universe. You're tearing the house apart, crawling on the floor, checking inside laundry baskets, hoping somehow gravity decided to play a trick on you. And the whole time, you keep whispering to yourself, it was a safe place, it was supposed to be safe. Why wasn't it safe? Who moved it? Was it me? Why would I do that? You start questioning every life decision that led you to this moment. The funniest part is, your wife will eventually walk by, glance at the area you've been searching for 30 minutes, reach into the very same drawer you already checked multiple times. They're smart and calmly pull out the missing item like she just solved a puzzle you didn't even understand. And she'll say, it was right here. And you're frozen, staring at the drawer, wondering if she has some magical married person's superpower, or if the house itself is playing tricks on you, because you know you checked that place, you know you did, and somehow there's a very specific moment in married life where you hear yourself say, I can fix that, and the instant the words leave your mouth, you don't regret everything. You don't know why you said it. No one forced you. There was no reason for that level of confidence, because you and everyone else in the universe knows you cannot fix anything. But marriage has this magical ability to give you false confidence in areas where you absolutely should not have it. You say, I can fix that, the same way a toddler says, I can drive. It's adorable and dangerous. And the worst part is your wife actually believes you for about 5 seconds. She'll hand you a tool, usually something terrifying like a wrench the size of your forearm. And suddenly you're in a situation you're not built for. You hold the tool wrong immediately. You grip it like you're about to cast a spell. And she's watching you with that look that says she's slowly realizing she married someone who shouldn't be left alone with metal objects. But you're committed now. You said the words. So you have to try, and trying is where the chaos begins. There's smart, because you always start strong. You bend over, look at the thing you need to fix, make that serious face like you're analyzing a crime scene. You poke it once, nod like you understand the problem, even though all you've learned is that it's still broken. And you tell her, yeah, I see what happened here, even though you don't. You don't see anything. You're just stalling for time, praying the object miraculously self-repairs. Then you do the worst possible thing. You touch something you shouldn't. There's always a screw, a switch, or a mysterious panel that looks like it's inviting you to open it. And you think, how bad could this be? And the answer is always pretty bad. Because the moment you open the thing, it starts making a noise you didn't even know things could make. Something clicks, something snaps. You hear a hiss, not a friendly hiss, a hiss that sounds like the house is filing a complaint against you. And you panic, immediately start sweating because your wife is right behind you, watching her household slowly collapse under your leadership. You try to act calm, saying things like, that's normal, even though nothing about what's happening is normal. You jiggle something else, hoping maybe the problem will reverse itself, but instead, the situation escalates. Suddenly, the wall is vibrating, or the shelf is leaning, or the sink starts doing impressions of a fountain. Your wife asks the classic married life question, why is it doing that? You don't have an answer. You weren't prepared for follow-up questions. You weren't prepared for any questions. You just shrug and say something vague like, does that sometimes, even though it has never done that once in its entire existence. The funniest part is you keep going. You know you should stop. Every instinct is telling you to walk away before you cause structural damage, but you can't. You're locked in. You're that guy now, the guy who fixes things badly. So you keep twisting, pulling, tapping, hoping the universe will show mercy. Meanwhile, your wife is standing there silently, giving you that expression that says she's mentally Googling the nearest professional. And, deep down, the moment you walk away, someone who actually knows what they're doing will come in, look at the disaster you created, fix it in 14 seconds, and you'll be standing there holding a tool you never should have touched, wondering why you ever said, I can fix that, and how this whole thing got so completely out of control as you stare at the mess and think. Married life has this strange way of turning you into someone who's always trying to look useful. When you have absolutely no idea what's happening around you, it's like you've been hired for a job you didn't apply for. No one trained you. Every day you show up hoping no one notices you're wildly unqualified. You wake up, walk around the house with purpose, not real purpose, just the appearance of purpose, like you're on a mission. You hold a tool, any tool, even if you don't know what it does, because tools make you look official. You'll walk through the hallway gripping a screwdriver the way a knight carries a sword, hoping your wife sees you and thinks he's doing something productive. She never thinks that. She knows you're lost. She knows you're wandering like a confused mall security guard trying to look busy. And the funny part is, you don't even want to fix anything. You just don't want to be caught fixing something, because that's when the tasks start flying in. So you pretend, you tighten screws that don't need tightening. You open cabinets and stare inside like you're waiting for them to speak. You tap on walls like a doctor checking reflexes, hoping it makes you look like you know something. You'll even bend down to look under furniture for no reason other than to look committed. You don't know what you're looking for. You're just hoping looking will count for something. And the whole time, your wife is watching from a distance with this expression that says she's trying to figure out whether you're actually doing something or just doing a very convincing impression of someone doing something. Because married life teaches you one thing: looking busy is sometimes more important than being busy. They're smart. If you're sitting on the couch, relaxing, scrolling your phone, suddenly you're available for all kinds of assignments. If you're walking around with a slight frown, squinting like you're investigating a mystery, your wife assumes you're in the middle of something important. It's survival instinct. There's this moment where she'll ask, "What are you working on?" And that's where everything falls apart, because now you have to explain. You can't just say nothing. You committed to the performance. You have to back it up. So you say something overly vague like, "Just checking a few things," hoping she doesn't request clarification. Because if she does, you're doomed. She'll ask, "What things?" And now you're panicking, staring at the wall like the wall is supposed to whisper you the answer. Married life turns you into an actor trapped in a role you didn't rehearse for. You keep nodding, grunting, doing that little shiam sound like you're analyzing something deeply, even though the only thing going through your mind is pure static. And somehow, even with all this pretending, you still end up assigned tasks you didn't ask for. She'll walk by, hand you a random object, and say, "Since you're already doing that, can you also fix this?" And now you're carrying 3 items you don't recognize, walking around the house like a confused repairman who took the wrong job. But you keep going, and they're smart, because stopping means admitting you don't know what you're doing. Admitting that means she might take away your tiny sliver of dignity and replace it with an actual chore that requires real skill. So you continue wandering, hoping effort will be enough, hoping she won't notice, hoping the universe gives you a small win as you walk room to room, trying to look useful, trying to look capable, trying not to get exposed as the overly confident, underqualified household employee you've somehow. The funniest part of married life is realizing that your greatest contribution to the household might not be strength, intelligence, or problem solving. It might simply be the fact that you're unintentionally hilarious every time you try to function like a normal adult. You're not even trying to be funny. Your existence just naturally produces comedy. It's like you're a walking sitcom character who never got the script for the episode. You say something simple like, "I've got this," and somehow that sentence alone becomes the joke. Your wife doesn't even laugh out loud anymore. She gives you that quiet smile, the one that says, "You have absolutely no idea what you're doing. I love that about you, but also please stop touching things." And the more seriously you take yourself, the funnier you become. You try to explain something deeply with total confidence. Halfway through the explanation, you realize you actually know nothing. Her eyebrows start rising slowly. She's watching a documentary unravel in real time, and suddenly you can't stop talking even though you should. It's like your mouth panics and says, "We're committed now. Let's just keep going and hope we land somewhere reasonable." And somehow, this makes her laugh more than anything you actually try to be funny about. You could spend 10 minutes telling a joke, smart, and she'll smile politely. But the moment you accidentally lock yourself in the laundry room because you pulled instead of pushed, suddenly she's doubled over like she paid for front row seats. Married life turns your mistakes into premium entertainment. You become the household comedian by accident. And there's this moment where she's telling someone a story about you, maybe her mom, maybe her friend, and she says, "You should have seen him." And right there, you know you're not the hero of the story. You're the punchline. You don't even know what story she's talking about until she reenacts it with exaggerated gestures that make you look like you were the most confused human being on the planet. The worst part, her reenactment is funnier than what actually happened. She adds extra details, voice impressions, dramatic pauses, and you're just sitting there thinking, "I don't think I blink that much when I'm nervous, but maybe I do." And you want to defend yourself, but you can't, and they're smart. Because the room is laughing, and you're laughing too. You're laughing because you recognize the truth in it. That is exactly something you would do. It's almost impressive how consistently you walk into ridiculous situations without meaning to. And somehow, this becomes one of the strongest parts of your marriage, your accidental comedy. It breaks tension, it softens arguments, it turns disasters into stories you retell while holding your stomach from laughing too hard. You stop feeling embarrassed and start embracing it because you realize your unplanned humor keeps the whole house balanced. It reminds your wife that even when things go wrong, there's still something to laugh about. Eventually, you start noticing that sometimes when she's stressed or overwhelmed, she'll look at you, almost waiting for one of your classic unintentional moments. Not because she wants you to mess up, but because those moments bring this warmth, this ridiculous charm, this comforting reminder that no matter how chaotic life gets, you will always be the person who somehow manages to turn regular moments into comedy. The person who can walk into a room and instantly shift the energy just by being yourself. The person who, and honestly, the more I look at my life, the more I realize this whole thing really does feel like a comedy special I didn't know I signed up for. Not because I'm trying to be funny, because married life just keeps handing me material like it's on some kind of subscription plan. Every day is a new episode where I'm confused, my wife is confident, and the house is slowly falling apart while pretending everything's fine. You start thinking, yeah, this actually tracks. This feels exactly like the kind of story someone would tell on stage, under a spotlight, wearing a jacket that looks nicer than anything they wear in real life. You keep hoping that maybe one day you'll get better at all the things marriage requires. Deep down, you kind of know the confusion is part of your charm. It's what keeps everything interesting. It's what gives your wife something to laugh about, even on the days when the dishwasher fails or you accidentally fix something into a more broken version of itself. Somewhere in all that chaos, all that harmless disaster, all that accidental comedy, realize you're just doing the best you can, hoping none of it collapses on you. Somehow, it still holds together as you're standing there watching your own life unfold like a Nate Bargatze story that hasn't even reached the punchline yet, because you know